versus Mannheim Central. So at this point, I think everyone knows the legend of Sam Durr, and especially this spring, we've certainly highlighted her enough, and she deserves everything that is said about her.
I just remember being very anxious to see Sam Durr.
One of the big stories for them coming back this year is their pitcher, all everything, Sam Durr.
Because I had heard all about her. And I was just very anxious to see this kid pitch. And in the game we're talking about, that's the first time I saw her live. And when you go to like a softball game or a baseball game, you don't think you're going to show up and see a perfect game or a no-hitter or even like a grand slam. You just don't think that's going to happen.
It was a non-league game, but it was against Mannheim Central, which is always a rival. So it was a big game for us. I know it was a big game for Sam.
And 3 pitches, and Snyder goes down looking.
Because it was Mannheim Central. They were getting a lot of press early on in the season because they were the up-and-coming team. And I think she wanted to prove something that game.
And there she is again in a situation where she needs to throw a strike. She does.
And she struck out the side for the second time in this ball game.
When she got in the circle, she was just in the zone. And again, not overpowering, had good velocity on her pitches, but again, I just think that the way she can just hit her spots in all different parts of the strike zone and keep batters just guessing the whole time.
It just freezes you. I mean, you're geared up for that high velocity, and it just literally buckles your knees when that comes in.
Her changeup was devastating that day. She had so many kids off.
It was devastating.
We were doing everything we could, with the bunting and, slapping, trying to do anything to get her out of her groove, but she was just on. And when you're good, you're good. And when you're really on, it can be one of those nights. And she had it that night. And that was an awesome, awesome accomplishment for her.
And she sings through it.
In no-hitters and perfect games, you don't think about it at the time, but afterwards you're like, wow, there are 2 or 3 plays that really could have turned the table of the game. And with this game, it's really, really interesting because it happened with the first bat. There's a lot going on. So on the mound is our #1 softball player of the last 20 years, Sam Durr. At the plate is our #2 softball player of the last 20 years, Alexa Campbell. So they're pitching, hitting. Shortstop is Maddie Durr, Sam's sister. And the very first at-bat of the game, Alexa hits a ground ball, not a real hard-hit ground ball, to shortstop. Maddie Durr comes up, makes a great play, quick release, strong throw, and it is a bang-bang play at first.
Fires the
Bang, bang! Woo!
But there's 1 up and 1 down here in the top of the first.
Could have gone either way, and I don't think either coaching staff would have objected. It was that close. She's out. We go on to a perfect game. If she's safe, we're certainly not talking about this on our list right now.
This game, and it sounds weird because it did turn out to be a perfect game, but it sounds weird, but it was kind of like another game for Sam that year. She was just impressive that year.
Swing and a miss, struck her out, and Sam Durr strikes out number 14, but more importantly, a perfect game here at Ambuck Field.
And looking back on her season, she struck out 258 batters and walked 10.
She was just a dominant pitcher. And, she had 14 strikeouts in that game. She had, there were so many big games during her career that, it probably wasn't a big surprise to see her do that. But, the fact that she did do it against the Mannheim Central team that ended up going to the state championship game the next year was just phenomenal.
Now you see Sam Durr, I tell you what, all my years I've been doing sports here on Cable 11, never did I see, witness, or call a perfect game. Did one today. Great job by Sam Durr.
She just loves softball, and I think that's a big aspect of a lot of and I think every coach can come across players that have been very talented, and sometimes it's hard to understand, and sometimes you can be really good at a sport, but not really love it. She was great at it, and she loved it.
We've got plenty more moments to come on our
Thought we would have done that.